Some experts are saying that Biden should extend the federal student loan pause because, in quote, the government does just fine without our money. Hi everyone, welcome back to our Taylor Talks channel. Make sure that you guys subscribe for some more Taylor Talks. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure that you guys subscribe, click that button. So let's get into the video. So the federal student loan pause could soon come to an end, and many borrowers aren't ready, including myself. So since March 2022, since the beginning of the pandemic, of course, payments on federal student loans have been paused, and the federal student loan interest rate has been set to 0%. Now, the federal student loan pause will end at the end of January 2022, meaning we will have to repay or start repaying our student loans on February 1st. But on a recent survey of over 33,000 student loan borrowers by the nonprofit Student Debt Crisis Center found that even among student loan borrowers with full-time employment, 89% said that they're not financially secure enough to begin making payments after February 1st, and 21% say they will never be financially secure enough to resume payments. Well, the Department of Education is reportedly weighing an extension of the student loan pause, according to Politico, but in a press conference earlier this month, White House Press Secretary Jim Paskey said that February 1st was the deadline and that it's still on. And he said the Department of Education is already communicating with borrowers to help them prepare for return to repayment. It expires February 1st, so right now we're just making a range of preparations. But still, study shows that many borrowers are still not prepared. The pause has provided significant relief for roughly 45 million Americans who owe federal student loans. Credit scores among borrowers have increased, in the Department of Education estimates.
In the past 10 years, college costs have increased by more than 16%, and student debt has increased by nearly 100%, which means that roughly 70% of college students today take out debt to pay for their education. But here's the frustrating
Protection Center that might not be enough. And she said, and I quote, "We are extremely encouraged to hear that President Biden is considering an extension of the federal student loan payment pause. The payment suspension has been vital to ensuring that borrowers can keep their head above water." Hundreds of organizations across the United States, such as the NAACP, the American Federation of Teachers, and civil liberty unions have said, and I quote, "If we don't extend the pause on payments, then that horrendous interest will pile up at a time when too many are still not financially prepared to shoulder a giant monthly bill." Moreover, with the virus spreading, the uncertainty with what happens next demands at least one more extension of the student loan payment pause. Now, further supporting the argument that the president should extend the student loan pause is Mike Pierce. Now, he's the executive director at the Student Borrower Protection Center, and he said, "And the lesson is during this pandemic is that the government does just fine without our money. The federal system used to rely on payments from borrowers to issue new student loans," he notes, "but that isn't the case today. Since 2020, the government has done just fine without taking money from student loan borrowers. But on the other hand, not all experts believe in student loan cancellations or extending the repayment pause." Now, Beth Akers, a senior fellow at American Enterprise Institute and a staff economist at the Council of Economic Advisors under the President George W. Bush administration, said, and I quote, "It puts in place appropriate incentives so that we don't have a ballooning of the student loan crisis and rampant tuition inflation. Institutions are willing to change any price because students won't have to pay it anyways," and thinks that resuming the pause will only damage the economy even more. And I quote, "2020 was the year where a student debt voter became a real thing. Where Joe Biden delivers for those borrowers, he's going to reap the political awards. And if he fails to do so, there are going to be some consequences." Now, since taking office, the Biden administration has approved over $9.5 billion of student loan relief, a significant but still relatively small percentage of the more than $1.7 trillion worth of student loans that Americans still collectively owe. Here's concluded with, and I quote, "It just shouldn't be the case in this country that pursuing education should ruin your life," and that is what has happened to so many people. But what do you guys think about this? Are you guys ready to pay back your student loans come February 1st? Make sure that you guys comment your thoughts below on what you guys think about this article. I will link this article in the description box so that you guys can read it yourself. Make sure that you guys comment and subscribe. Make sure that you guys subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for everybody that has come back to this video. And thank you so much for all your support. And what I always say is stay safe, especially during this holiday season. See you guys.